Hello everybody, this is Duck and welcome to another video, and we are going to be working on the redstone organism today. And just to catch people up to speed, we're going to start developing an organism that is able to simulate life in Minecraft Redstone. So we're going to want it to have nerve impulses that can change directions, can cognitively think, and then be able to react to its environment. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be working on a nerve. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and see what we can do to construct a nerve. So the first thought that I had, I even had this in the video introducing the project, is if we can use calibrated Sculk sensors, we can almost make a wireless redstone type of situation happen, to see if that actually would be what would be necessary to travel signals up and down to simulate a nerve response. So I'm going to try to do that real quick because I am also learning redstone as we're doing this project. So if I take a piston and I power it, the first question I have is, can I even move these Sculk sensors? No, I want to do something like that. So if I power this, can I even move Sculk sensors? Maybe I can't. Maybe that's already something that I can't do. I don't think I can move these calibrated Sculk sensors. Can I move regular ones? Let's see. Because I don't know I don't know how stuff moves. Yeah, because the part of this project is I'm also going to be learning redstone as I'm going. But if I do this, can I move Sculk sensors? It doesn't look like I can. If I do it with a lever, is the redstone block just not something that I can use here? But if I put a lever on that, yeah, it doesn't look like I can move Sculk sensors. So I think the Sculk sensor idea is out. I think that that will not work. So we're going to go ahead and remove that. So what would be the idea on what we could do to simulate some wireless redstone for a nerve? Because in a nerve, we have the axon, which receives um, an input. So let's have this block of redstone. Let's let that be the axon of one nerve, and then from there we're going to have our nerve, which will be these slime blocks that we're going to be creating, and then the head or the dendrite of this nerve touches the axon, which is the end of the previous nerve, which then ends in the axon over here. So we need to be able to figure out how we can simulate data transfer from one point to another wirelessly so that we can still move our organism and then be able to have the nerve follow, and then be able to make something that can be in sequence in a chain. So I don't necessarily know how we can do this because there's not a whole lot of wireless redstone possible. And I want to try to do this project in vanilla. If it's not possible, we'll move into trying something else. But there's not a whole lot of redstone that can be moved, other than if we just take pistons and if we just end up moving redstone blocks in like a flying machine system that would simulate movement. But I want it to be like a conditional like input, if that makes sense. And I don't know how to do that. But if we go ahead and we need our piston back, and we'll see what we can do with that. So if we go ahead and grab our pistons and do something like this, like here's a thought. If we are able to go ahead and push our piston, which I don't know why I'm struggling with the pistons right now. Why can't I move these? Can redstone blocks not be moved? Or is this not being powered right? Or just, do pistons need dust? That might be what's going on. Do I need dust on these pistons? I can't remember. But if I do something like that, why doesn't the sticky piston move? Or does it just need to be updated? So if I do it, why doesn't that work? Or can sticky pistons not work with slime? This seems like a bug. I don't know why it's not working. But let's try just a regular piston. And we'll throw that over there. So just throw out this piston, do something like that, and then redstone block, get rid of the Sculk sensor because that's not helpful. If I do something like this, Like, why is this not working? Because I feel like it should, right? It should. I should be able to move that. I don't know what's going on there. If people know what's going on here with this, go ahead and let me know in the comments what's going on there, because this seems like a bug that doesn't work right. I am on the latest snapshot of Minecraft, so if there's still some problems with the with the newest snapshot, that might be the problem. But I need to try to simulate this distance. I need to be able to take an input from here and run it to here wirelessly or by something that can be moved, because redstone dust cannot move with moving objects. It'll break. And I know blocks of redstone can. So if I can just even hold on, this might be as simple as I just have a line of redstone that then can just be moved by a piston, which the pistons aren't working right now. So I might have to look into that in between videos. But this could even be the length of the nerve. We have the axon of a nerve, which is the end of it where it receives the information, and then this is the dendrite, which transmits the information down the line. And like I said, I am kind of still brainstorming because I am still learning redstone while I'm doing this project. But if we have something in sequence, and as long as they're under like 12 blocks, we should be okay because that's a piston push limit. But if I do something like this, now I will need to separate them a little bit because we'll have to somehow be able to force them to move. But this could theoretically be what is needed to transmit the data across the chain. Is just this sort of setup. Now I know that I will need to put in like pistons and whatnot, but if I just throw a piston down here, they should be able to be those should be able to be charged like are powered like that. But if I remove it and then we'll throw these down like so, and then something like that and power it. How much of this can be pushed? Are we past the piston push limit? Oh, because these are all stuck together, we are. I don't understand why these pistons aren't working. I do know that I need to figure out how to set the time normally, but I can't figure out why this isn't working. Hmm. But in essence, that's what I'm trying to. This is what I'm trying to do. This is what I'm trying to develop with the nerve. Is we need to transmit information from one to another like this. Maybe of varying sizes because of the piston push limit. So in essence, this is a very simple mock-up of a nerve. Um, but I want the information to not be constant if I can help it. And I think we might end up having to go into modded Minecraft to help make that happen, which I think I'll end up doing for this project anyways. I'm sorry, the oak logs are bothering me, make it hard for my ADHD to concentrate. But anyways, that's what I'm thinking we could do here with these nerves. Um, and since we are still kind of brainstorming how we're doing it, we can kind of experiment with some other stuff. We'll throw down a piston because I'm really thinking that at this point we are just going to have to make a flying machine. Basically, is what it's going to end up being. And if I do this and I just throw a Sculk sensor on the back of this, why isn't it powering? Why are my pistons not powering? Because they very well should at this point, I would think. Um, but if you know what's going on, let me know. But I think that's kind of the premise. That's the thought, and yeah, I think that's where we're gonna actually leave it today. It's a very simplified, um, and I hope that as we're brainstorming this idea out, the videos will get a little bit longer. We'll get more in depth. But I need to do more research and maybe see into doing some modded worlds for this. But if you have any thoughts, questions, let me know. Because I know this project's gonna be huge. But I'm trying to make something that can be moved to send information trains. But once the information has traveled to the next nerve, I want it to become unpowered. So I don't know that redstone blocks are necessarily what I want to do, but we'll see what we can do with some logic and stuff like that. But if you guys have any any help or any thoughts, go ahead and let me know in the comment section. But that's going to do it for me today. I know it's a shorter video, but I'm just processing what we're going to do with a nerve. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any thoughts, yeah, let me know. And I hope that this was a little bit helpful. And I'm really excited about this project. Again, we are still kind of in the brainstorming phase before we get really constructing. So if there's anything that I'm missing, please let me know. Again, I'm very new to Redstone, so this is kind of way out there in the ballpark for me. But if we can figure out why these pistons aren't working, we can kind of work from there. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. God bless, and we'll see you guys later. Stay hydrated, learn some things, and I'll see you guys later. Adios.